Girl, let's talk about it. Did you hear them talking about it? Oh my God, did you know this?
Oh my God, it's Shani Lavely and Nicole. Shani Lavely and Nicole on a roll. Lighting up the screen, the vibe is full. Shani Lavely and Nicole, let's go. Kicking down doors, we make some noise. Grown folks talk with truth and voice. Doing it big, turning up the flow. Shani Lavely and Nicole, you know. Oh yeah, it's Shani Lavely and Nicole. Oh yeah, it's Shani Lavely and Nicole. Everywhere. Shani Lavely and Nicole, oh yeah. Grown talk vibes, the moment is here.
Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, everyone. We are back. Oh my God, it's been a terrible Monday. Oh my goodness. I cannot.
Hey girl, hey.
Hey baby girl.
Monday is Monday in. Oh my goodness.
Monday is Monday in. What are we talking about?
God, let me go get my papers. Excuse me.
Y'all, we are so sorry for the delay. I mean, we jumped on and I don't know what was going on with StreamYard, but StreamYard shut us off and we was like, what in the world? Wait a minute. Yeah,
we were sitting here just talking away and we talking to ourselves the whole entire time.
That's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I tell you. So now we're back on track, y'all. We will stay on a little 15 minutes later because we was delayed on this show today. Girl, what we talking about?
All right. So you were asking me about my weekend.
Your weekend.
Yes, I think we had a good weekend. Let's see. So on my weekend on Friday night, I went to a Chris Brown concert. It was amazing. Chris Brown was doing all kind of flips and trips all up in the air, all over the stadium. It was the best concert I've ever been to. I think it was better than Beyonce.
Yo, they say I'm telling you, the best concert I ever saw in my life was Prince and Michael Jackson. Those are the two, and I think they were a tie.
I believe that Michael Jackson had people fainting.
Oh my goodness. I remember we camped outside of across the street at the time. It was a little by South DeKalb Mall. We camped outside like the whole night waiting for them tickets because his tickets were sold out like in 2 seconds. So if you wasn't in the know, you was not in the building.
And then we have the lovely and fabulous Shelly Live movie premiere on Saturday.
That was so beautiful.
It was a big hit.
I'm telling y'all see the pictures. I got 385 pictures that I have to post some kind of way. And I mean, these people look beautiful. I mean, me and my girlfriend, we smiled. The event was priceless. I mean, you cannot ask for anything that was more pretty than seeing that. Like, I mean, just standing on the balcony, looking down. I think me and her had our moment. We just kind of looked out and was like, damn, we did a damn good job. Like it was seeing all the colorful black folks in the red, baby, and the black. Y'all don't understand how that feels as a creator of anything. It was phenomenal. It really was.
And you looked beautiful, Shelly Live. It was a beautiful event and everything. If you missed out, huh?
You look like a little toy. I said, she looks so pretty. Look at over there, her little gold and red on. I was like, oh, look at this sitting there poised. She's pretty. It was just beautiful.
It really was beautiful. Yes. It was a beautiful event and the movie was wonderful. You guys have got to catch it when it comes on the platforms if you missed out and everything.
Yeah, y'all got to see this movie. I mean, we had people crying, people's emotions, just looking at people engaging. And then the feedback afterward was great of what people felt, the emotions they felt during the movie. So I can't wait, y'all. You know, we can't wait till it hits the screen. Like that's the big thing. The big day is coming. And of course, you know, when it comes, we're going to blast it all on social media. So y'all can jump on these platforms and watch it and stream it and share it and like it. So today we have a guest coming on. He hasn't joined yet. We got Red Cool Ace coming on. He's supposed to be on, and I hope he gets the link because StreamYard is acting crazy. But the topic today is when grown folks struggle to apologize. why do we as grown people struggle to apologize to each other or apologize in a relationship or not in a relationship? Why is that so hard for us? What makes that so difficult to just say, I'm sorry and move on?
Yeah, I never did. I never do understand. You'd be surprised how many people actually really struggle with apologizing and everything. But my thing is, it has a lot to do with ego and a need to be right.
Yeah.
So, it has a need to be, because, it's crazy. Like, stuff don't even be that serious. It don't even be that serious. And you'd be surprised how something so small can turn into something just so big and everything.
Right.
And then people want to prolong it because, you don't want to get over you don't want to apologize. You don't want to apologize. The other person don't want to apologize. You want to both parties want to be stubborn, and no one wants to admit fault or take accountability. So that's
that's crazy because when I was younger, that was hard for me. I ain't gonna lie. Like when I was probably in my 30s, going into 40s, I just wasn't very apologetic. And I might have been wrong a whole lot of times. And, and I always say, like, when I look back on certain things in my life, I feel like I may have hurt some people along the way because I just didn't ever feel like I was wrong. Like I just wasn't wrong, period. Like even if I was wrong, I wouldn't. And that can cost you a whole lot, when you don't say you're sorry, because you don't know who you offend. And I just remember, like, always praying that was the one thing that I would lose, like, please let me be able to be like a person that can say I'm sorry and receive it when someone says they're sorry, because I think, or not even sorry, just apologizing, period. And just saying, hey, I was wrong. It didn't mean it how it came out. Even in relationships, it was hard for me to say I was sorry, for things. We would pout for days. You go in the bed, laying on one edge, the person laying on the other edge of the bed, and ain't nobody speaking. We just all looking crazy.
Right. I think for me, like I used to always be the one to, I mean, lately I find myself kind of, I guess, struggling with apologizing, but I always, even growing up and everything, I always have to be the one to be the bigger person and apologize, even when I knew I wasn't even in the wrong. I've always been the one to be like, I'm sorry, when it comes to like we're close friends, relationships, kind of, but friendships, I hate when people are mad, but I always found myself being the one to have to say I'm sorry. But this time around,
it gets tiring because you feel like
yes, it does.
No one ever takes accountability but you.
No, it does, and I find myself, I feel that way because I find myself like, okay, I'm apologizing, but that person don't, but you don't feel where you went wrong.
They just accept your apology and they just keep moving. You're like, oh, she apologized, we're good. Yeah. But no, sometimes, it does. Some people have a hard time just saying sorry. And I think if we did it more, it'll be just so much better. I mean, the Bible teaches us to be forgiving and say and apologize when we're wrong and stuff like that. Yeah. But it is a space that people fight with. And I just don't understand why it's such a big space.
It's a big topic because I'm like, I find because grown people just think just because they grown, they don't do nothing. People don't know how to be wrong. They don't think they do nothing wrong. That's a thing. It's like when you don't think when you don't know where you messed up at, that's a problem. Because you're grown, it don't mean you ain't wrong.
Right. It don't mean you ain't wrong. Right. Juan says some people don't care about other people's feelings, just don't have a conscience. But that's not that, Juan, sometimes I wouldn't say I didn't have a conscience. I just think like it was just a part of growing up. You know what I mean? Like just growing up and just knowing that I can't always be right. You know what I'm saying?
I think it has to do with, hey, Valon. I think it has to do with how people are raised too and everything too. I think that plays a factor in it as well. Because growing up, your parents, teach you when you do something wrong, you apologize and everything. Right. But, so it has to do with, how you was raised too. I think that plays a role in it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot. Yeah. But
you think like, do you like, why is it sometimes harder to apologize to those like who we love the most though? Like, why do you think it's harder for us to apologize to who we love the most?
I think that for me, it probably would be harder because you sometimes feel like you said, you feel like you're always the one saying you're sorry. Like you're always the one forgiving, and you're always the one forgetting, and you're always the one trying to be the bigger person.
Right.
And after a while, after a while, you just get tired. You be like, well, damn, can somebody say they're sorry to me?
Right. And yeah, I do feel that way a lot of times and everything, because a lot of the times, sometimes from like, I think what Juan said, sometimes I feel like too, like it's a respect, like even with family, sometimes I feel like it's a respect thing too. Like you don't have no respect for me. Like you can't say I'm sorry, like just because I'm younger than you, or that's
sometimes it just really hurts.
Yes,
I'm the kind of person, I don't like to be mad. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I don't like to be mad with people. It's almost like a draining energy for me to be mad. I am not lying. That's the one thing. It's a gift and a curse all at the same time, because I don't like being angry. So for me, it's like, I'd rather say I'm sorry and move past it and just be done with it than sit there and hold it, because it's going to bother me anyway. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't like being angry. I just don't like to be in a space of just uncomfortableness. I guess that's the space I'm thinking of. Just a space of, I don't know, it's not that serious, and let's just move past it. Because even growing up, it was some things, that just we grew up as children, and we just always was arguing and fussing and fighting, and you fight, say you're sorry. You're like, I don't want to apologize. I ain't do nothing wrong, But at the end of the day, apologies is apologies. Like I said, period. Even in my relationships, like I remember just being in a relationship with my first husband, and he was a Capricorn too, so that was the first wrong, and he never was wrong, and I never was wrong, and I found myself just my relationship falling apart because of not being able to say I'm sorry.
Right.
So after a while, it was like, okay, you can do two things. You can either learn how to be apologetic, or your marriage is going to flop, because there's neither one of you are wrong. So I had to learn the behavior of saying, hey, okay, I ain't mean it like that. That's not how I meant to say it.
Right.
I'm sorry for what I, might have screamed out that day, because I was young, when I first got married, and I was learning as I was in the marriage, which was even harder, because you move into somebody's space, and now y'all in the same space, and y'all trying to figure it out. And here come all these arguments. You calling me a name, I'm telling you a dodo, and then we try to apologize in the middle.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then I remember back in my relationship, that's all my boyfriend did. But sometimes too, when it comes to that in relationships, sometimes I learned that sometimes sorry just ain't enough anymore. Especially like in the first relationship, you apologize, you effing up too much, and you keep apologizing. Sometimes sorry is just not enough. I'm sorry, it's not. Valon said, yes, I've been on that side of the spectrum myself. It's a shame. I'm glad pray for them self-centered individuals. Absolutely.
Yeah, because people just don't apologize. I'm telling you, you got some people in the world, they won't do it. They just will not apologize to you. Nope. I don't care what you do, how you say it, how you build it. It is not coming out their mouth, and they can know they're wrong, and they will never they're sorry. I don't know how people can live with those spirits, like that energy, because I think it takes a lot to be just like that, just to be in that space. I think it's just a lot, just period, just period. And like I said, my ex-husband, he did not say he was sorry. He just did not. Like, we would argue, and I just remember like a lot of times just arguing, and then when the night comes, how you just, you sweep it under the rug. You just put it under the rug, like the argument didn't happen. But then after a while, you have this mountain of stuff that is just under that rug, and eventually you got to move it. And when you do, and then you have the ones that hold on to all the animosity, everything, and get mad, they explode and tell you all the stuff you did and ain't did, and what you ain't right in doing, and all of a sudden all this hurtful stuff starts pouring into you.
Absolutely.
Apology for all the stuff they did wrong. It's just everything was you, and you did it, and you did it wrong. So
I think that for me, because it's like it builds up to get me mad, So then when I get mad, I explode and I start mentioning all the hurtful stuff and I'm wanting out crying. And then, yeah, it's just like, it's just people, they just really don't care. Cause
it's the thing, it's a growing curve. It's something you grow.
Is.
You got to grow and you got to learn it. And when you talking to a lot of people and to the world, even at my job, like, sometimes my team, when the people that work for me, they'll say, Miss Michelle, you was so mean. They be like, you were so mean. And then I have to, I go to my leads and I might be like, was I really mean? And they'll be like, yeah, you was a little hard on that one, and I do. I go back on the call. I'll do a Zoom with my team and I'll be like, I'm so sorry, y'all. I did not mean to be, ugly. If I came across ugly or if I came across not professional, because sometimes, I take work serious. So sometimes, like when they do stuff, I'll be like, that was just stupid. And I don't understand what y'all do. Cause they like, this like my family. I've been with these people for a long time. So I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say and I'm gonna be done. But then I don't realize that they taking it the way they taking it. So sometimes my leads have to say, hey, Miss Michelle, you was a little bit rough. You was a little bit rough there.
Well, it's nice that you can do that, because some people, and a lot of people, and I'm not even gonna say some, a lot of people in leadership, they don't do that. They will scream, be hard on you, and then they will not care how they talk, how they treat you. They will not apologize for it and everything. Because I remember this one leader, she was hard on at my job, hard on the whole team. It was like a lot of people just really did not understand like why she treated people that way. And it was like she acted so irrational. I remember one day, we did a survey on her and the whole entire team, and she came up, she took it upon herself to come up to the entire team and express to us how she felt. I was like, that was a lot. But yeah, people don't do that. But I am a person, I will say for the most part, if I know I'm wrong, and I know I did something wrong, I don't have any problem taking accountability and apologizing, and I will definitely tell you exactly why I'm apologizing, what I'm apologizing for. I have no problem with doing that. I have no problem with doing that. But a lot of the times I do feel like because I try to do. I'm not saying that I'm not saying I don't make mistakes and I don't do anything wrong. But a lot of the time I feel like I'm the one being wronged in certain situations. But I don't have a problem if I, get a little, we all have our days where we're not in the mood and we get pissed off, and we get pissed off and it ain't a good day, and you probably went off and on somebody and you probably didn't mean to go off but you just, but people don't think about that either. Like probably just having a bad day, and it's just, so, but we do have those, but hey.
I try to, and that's something that I work with daily, like my bad days. Cause I figure like this, the person that I'm talking to, they ain't got nothing to do with my day being bad. Right. So I have to, I have to look at it from their eyes, like, especially when I'm like in a bad mood. And, today I woke up in not a good one. I woke up today and, everything was hurting. The weather was bad. Everything was hurting on my body. And when I got on to my Zoom this morning, I was just like, oh my God. I started out like that. I was like, oh my goodness, I don't want to. And my team was like, oh, what's wrong? What's going on? I'm like, oh, you know what, y'all, I'm sorry. This ain't for y'all. It's just me.
Yeah.
It's just
I had the same day. Like Monday was Monday and I didn't wake up in a good mood myself. I had a little mishap the night before and everything. And, and then, you come to work on Monday morning and everything's like on your mind and your personal life, but you have to remember, you have to keep it professional and you have to still do your job and everything. But yeah, I woke up and not in the best mood at all, but life be life.
I'm telling you, it be life. It's like coming on today, everything was going wrong with the platform.
Yes, and then on the StreamYard, then we had to log in late.
Late. I mean, we tried to be here at 5:00, but it was just a lot going wrong. And I think it started from energy. The energy was off. So it was like, okay, let's get it together. Let's pull it together. We got to do this show. We got to get on here.
We still managed to get on, and even with all the mishaps and everything, all the technical difficulties, we still managed to get on and work everything out. And then you got to keep on pressing forward. And that is something that I struggle with. I have bad anxiety, and I struggle, and I get a little frustrated and antsy. I get flustered. It is something that I have to work on. It's a work in progress, and I'm doing my best. And I know it's something that I can admit that that's something that I need to work on. So, but yeah, I do feel like for the most part, I do try to be a good person, try to be good to my family, try to be good to my friends and everything. And I do feel like I apologize a lot, but it would be nice sometimes if
somebody else did.
When I was wrong, when I'm the one that's wrong, it just would be nice if someone would be nice and apologize.
If it was somebody else, say I'm sorry
That's all.
besides you. Juan said, yeah, they don't have a conscience of their wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then Valon said, yes, that's good, Shelly. We are not perfect. As the Bible says, examine yourself. Yes, I apologize also if I'm in error. And I do. But sometimes, like Leah Nicole just said, sometimes I just want somebody else to say sorry besides me. Like, I'd be like, but don't you feel something too? You know what I'm saying? Like, like I remember when me and my ex-husband used to argue. I used to just wait, like, let me wait to see if he would just apologize for what he said, like, and it would be days would go by, and I don't like to be in a house and be upset. So I'm like, either I'm going to speak or we're never going to talk. So it just became like a routine, like, something will pop off, and then it was like, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, like, it was wrong, and I found myself doing that. But I noticed that in all of my relationships after that, I was always apologizing. I'm like, oh my God, I can't always be
that's me. I can't always be wrong and everything. So, because sometimes, like, I don't think it's like right just to apologize just because when I think about it, it's like, okay, like when you say we are always the ones to apologize. Sometimes I don't think it's okay, like, just apologize when just to keep the peace. I mean, I understand keeping the peace and everything, but I just apologize just because I want it to be over, and I don't want nobody to be mad. I don't want to be mad. But then there are times when I get mad and I do want my space for a little bit, and and
it's understandable though to want your space to breathe and say, let me figure out what this is, or let me figure out what just happened here. You know what I'm saying? Because it'd be a lot sometimes. Even with my kids, I've said some hurtful things to my kids. Like, I'm talking about mean, downright, just ugly, not pleasant, like, just to the grid. And I can see the hurt in their face when I say it. And then I'll sit in my spirit for a minute in the room, and I'm like, oh my God, that was horrible. Like, I can't believe I just said that out loud to my child. And then I got to go in there and be like, I'm sorry. Like, I just did not mean what I just said to you. Like, I've said some pretty shit things. I'm not even gonna lie. I'd be lying if I didn't. I've said some pretty shitty.
Parents actually do struggle to apologize to their children. Parents think that they are always right and they can't say hurtful things to the children, but actually, you can.
I've said some downright.
It is okay it's okay for you to apologize to your children when you say something that's very hurtful. I understand. Yes, you're supposed to teach your children and everything, and they probably made a mistake, but it's okay to say I'm sorry, because a lot of parents do not apologize to their kids when they
Let me ask you, have you ever experienced someone refusing to apologize to you, and how did that make you feel?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, it's very you don't even know the half.
Like, just refusing. They not say they sorry. Period. Point blank. They just not.
I have been in a situation where I was not wrong. Well, I was not wrong, and I know I was not wrong in a situation. Somebody wronged me, but they don't want to apologize to me, and they don't want to make it. They don't want to make the situation right. And of course, I told myself that I told myself that I wanted to be stubborn, and they didn't want to talk, but I do have a conscience. I do think about it, like if this person is okay and everything. So I did take initiative to reach out, and got ignored, and we ain't talked in. I ain't talked to this person for they don't want to make things right. They don't want to apologize, and sometimes it be like that. They just.
But how does that make you feel though?
It's hurtful. It's hurtful. It's hurtful. It's sad and it's hurtful, because especially if somebody if you know for a very, very long time, and especially when the shit 9 times out of 10 I mean, it was so petty and so petty anyway.
Don't it
So
get you when it's some small shit and you be like, I know you ain't mad about no bullshit like this
right,
now.
when it's something small, but yeah, but we're both, at least I tried to, like I said, I tried to extend, at least I didn't apologize, but I tried to extend an olive branch, and
Mhm.
it wasn't reciprocated, or it wasn't,
Wasn't
so
received.
it wasn't received. So so and it hurts, and I'm not gonna lie, it really hurts. And there are days I think about it, but then I just feel like, well, damn, I guess you really don't. I guess the person just really don't think that they're wrong. It really, but it's okay. I mean,
That
it's
part.
it's, it's hurtful. It's hurtful, and I'm not gonna lie. I've cried. I've dealt with it, but so it's very
And
hurtful.
sometimes people don't even realize that the hurtfulness is hurting you. I think
Mhm.
sometimes people don't even acknowledge that they've hurt you. And I
Right,
don't think people acknowledge to say, hey, this was jacked up. I'm sorry. Like, just I think it's the easiest thing to say. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's the easiest part, to say, hey,
right,
what, that was ugly, and
right,
it wasn't like that, or
right.
it wasn't like this, and I just
It's some-
apologize for that part.
it's a lot of the times where things are just it's really just 9 times out of 10 it's just a misunderstanding
Hmm.
in between you and the person. But when you can't, but sometimes people are not willing to accept that and receive that it was just a misunderstanding and keep going. So, but what does a genuine apology look like to you?
When you can see that the person really means it. I think some people can say they sorry and don't mean it at all, because the
Mhm.
behavior will still be the same behavior. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? It doesn't change. It's
right,
just like being in an abusive relationship. The man keeps hitting you and he says he's sorry every time he hits you. And then after a while, the sorries don't sound, they all sound the same. You see what I'm saying?
exactly.
It's like,
That's what
yeah,
I
you
was
hit,
saying.
yeah, you
That's why
hit
I
me.
was
Yeah,
right,
okay, I'm sorry you hit me, and then you apologize, and y'all apologize, you make up, and then you do the behavior again, and then
right,
you apologize again, and it's like, okay, is this another sorry coming? And then you realize you don't even mean what you're saying, no way, because you still
right.
doing the same thing. Like, if you was really sorry, it would not happen anymore.
Mm-mm.
But you don't do that. You keep on doing the same thing because I keep on accepting the apology.
Right, right, right. And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier when I said that sometimes sorry is not enough. When you do something to somebody and then you apologize and then you continuously keep doing it, that you're not sorry for what you're doing. It's because you keep repeating the same behavior, and that's not
Mhm.
okay. That's why I said sometimes sorry is not enough anymore. And
Anymore. Yeah.
it's not enough.
Delon said, yes, they're just being knuckleheads. Simple Simon exists. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sometimes it's hard. Let's see. Have you ever held back on an apology yourself, and why? Have you ever held back on apologizing to somebody, and why did you hold back when you did?
Like meaning like I was wrong and I should have apologized.
Yeah, like you was wrong, when you just was like, I'm just not apologizing. And why did you do it if you
See,
did it?
that's the thing. That's the thing with me. Like, I do have a conscience.
Hmm.
I do have a conscience. So that's the thing. When I was wrong, because
Hmm.
sometimes you have to like. It takes for you to have to like think about things, analyze the situation. Okay, what did I say? What did they say? And stuff like that. That's the thing about me. Like I'm one of the type of people. I do have a conscience. So like when I'm wrong, I will be like, hey, let me apologize. Like I've definitely, like I said, if I've gotten an argument with my close friends,
Hmm.
excuse me, got an argument with close friends, I will, okay, I think about it and I'll be like, okay, well, let me be the bigger person and let me apologize for this and everything. That's a thing. Like, I don't really hold back when I'm wrong. I do know how to be like, okay, like let me take accountability and say I'm sorry when I'm wrong. I
Right,
will
right.
definitely.
No, holding back. I've held back sometimes. I think more in my marriage, like,
Mhm.
especially like you said, like sometimes, like I said, we would go days and days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks with nothing, no conversation. You walk in the room, you're walking past me. I ain't making no plates. I ain't making no dinner. I'm upstairs in the bed, because I'm mad. I'm upset. And then when I do that for so long, it's like, damn, like, and I really look and I'd be like, you're not going to say, you're just not going to apologize. You don't even know how. Right. So I would find myself doing it but holding back just to see if the person can admit that they were wrong or that they did something that was uncomfortable to me. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing for me to take ownership and accountability, but at the same time, it's like, how do you view yourself? You don't do nothing wrong. Like, you ain't did nothing at all to put us here in this situation while we ugly and we being mad. Like, you got to be able to take accountability, and you got to be able to say, hey, I'm talking about, I used to be in my marriage and we would go weeks. I'm talking about with not one word, like nothing. It was just like,
that's hard. That's horrible.
Kids kids running across the house and nobody talking to each other. It was not a good, it wasn't a good fit.
That's horrible. And I can't, I wouldn't,
it's a lot.
I can't live. It's hard to live with, when you in a marriage and you just, I can understand and everything that though, but it's just, that's a lot to deal with and everything.
Do you think that people feel like apologizing diminishes their authority and control if they apologize?
I do. I think that has a lot to do with why people can't apologize. I think, as a matter of fact, like I think
if I say
I'm sorry, I'm weak and everything. I'm the one. I'm not gonna be. They think, oh, okay, like I say, I'm sorry, I'm weak. I'm kissing that person's ass and everything. I do. Right. I definitely think that plays a factor in it as well. But what people don't realize is you're not weak because you apologize. We are all human. We are all human. We all make mistakes. We all say things that we don't mean. And you can it's okay to be wrong and say, okay, I'm sorry. It's nothing for you to say I'm sorry, but I would say, like, when I asked you that question about the family and apologizing and then what love the most, I hated that. I'm going to share this and everything because I just really don't like it. Like that it's I think in my family, it's hard. We struggle with not apologizing. And I don't like that.
But why do you think that is, though? Do you think it's ego? Do you think it's just because no one's wrong?
It's definitely ego. It's definitely ego. It's definitely, the other person. I'm not the type of person where, okay, I like when you do something, when my family does something to me, I need a couple of, I'm not going to talk. I need a couple of days from you, but sometimes, they just want to like act like things never happened. And I don't like that. I don't like just, okay, like we just gonna act like we just gonna sit up and talk. I'll still be upset about what happened.
Because you know why? Sometimes it's easier that way. Sometimes it's easier to just mend the wound, take off the Band-Aid, let it air out, and try to make the wound heal itself with the air versus the conversation. Because you got to think about it. Sometimes real shit happens, right? When it comes to family, like real shit be happening. And then sometimes it's just the Band-Aid. You take it off and here's the blood. Now we're bleeding again. Now we're going back trying to figure out what somebody said, what somebody did, what somebody didn't do. And then that starts chaos. That's more confusion. So you can't say you're sorry because no one knows how to anymore.
Right.
That's not in just family. That's with everything. That's even at work. That's when you at a job and you with your leadership and y'all are fussing and going back and forth. And, I could tell you a story about me and Paula, one of my best friends. We had a situation at work one time where I felt like she threw me under the bus. Like, we was close, at work. And I felt like I was telling her something that somebody said, and I thought I could as her boss. I thought, I could say this to her. She's not going to repeat it. But I didn't take into consideration that it hurt her feelings, what I said, that the person said. But, I'm thinking, I'm just talking catty because I'm the kind of boss that I'd be like, such and such, that's something happen. Because I figure you're in leadership, you should know, right? But at that time, as a new leader, it didn't dawn on me that it bothered her, but she ended up going to my superior and made her story about what she felt like. Now, when I went in the office, what I felt like I was bombarded. That was the first thing. So when I went in the office and I'm sitting down coming off my lunch break and I'm sitting at this table with my head boss and she's like, well, she's feeling some type of way and she didn't like what you said. And I'm going, huh? And I'm looking at her and I'm going, you couldn't just come to me? Like you couldn't, and this is me like really in the office, like you couldn't just come to me and say that? Like you just couldn't say that? Like
Right.
we talk all the time. You could have told me this off the clock. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I felt like we were better than that. But
Right.
at the end of the day, I just didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And I was on 10, baby, because and I'm the kind of person when I go to 10, it takes me a long time to get back to 1.
Right.
So I'm sitting there and my boss is steady talking to me and I've completely tuned the boss out. Like I couldn't hear her no more. And I just told her, I said, I can't sit in here because I'm so mad. I'm gonna pop. And I'm mad and I'm rocking. And I know whatever's gonna come out my mouth ain't gonna be cute, ain't gonna be present. And I just remember her reaching over to touch me. And I was like, don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Your boss?
No, I told all of that. I said, don't touch me.
Okay.
I said, don't touch me. I said, because if you touch me, I don't know what I'm just don't touch me. And I asked, could I leave? But our other boss came in instead, and then we ended up talking. So, but it took us not a long time. I would say about 2 weeks went by, and then she came to me and said, hey, can we just talk about that situation? Because it went wrong. And it did. It was some stuff added and it went wrong very quickly, and then we sat down and really talked about it. It was like, and that's why I say this is the forgiving spirit that I have. Cause I was like, okay, I get it. I get what you did and I get why. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't have said that to you. Maybe I didn't take how you felt. And I did. And I just, just me talking catty, like, cause you hear people talk about you when you're in leadership, people talk about you all day. They don't like you. They don't like how you look. They don't like how you walk. They don't like your shoe. They don't like how you say. It's a lot, when you're a leader. So you hear, you don't get apologize. You don't get apologies. They say what they say and it's what it is. And that's it, So we got past it. But I just remember just being, I wasn't apologizing. I was mad. I was probably wrong for saying, don't touch me. And I was probably wrong for saying what somebody said because I didn't take things in consideration. So it was a learning curve for me. And I was like, okay, well, I can't do that because that hurts. That bothers people. So that was just one of those things where I just felt like I could have did better, as a leader, coming in the door and just a team of people, because it's hard to lead a lot of people. It's hard to lead people, period. Because they say, you ain't no good as your leadership. But it's hard to lead people and everybody got different personalities because you got to learn all of them. And you got to learn how to listen and be the ear and be apologetic when you probably ain't wrong. You got to say it anyway when you feel like you ain't, you know what I'm saying? So you got to, it's like behaviors learned, you know what I mean? Like learning things as you go.
Right.
So,
and then they put a lot of pressure on you in leadership as well. They probably put a lot of pressure and everything. So I get it, but sometimes, we don't in the leadership. Y'all don't know how to check your tone when you talk to the team sometimes because you're frustrated because they were getting on to you. Now you come in and you bringing that to the team.
That's why I say I got good team leads because my team leads will call me in a minute and be like, Michelle, now you was just ugly. Like you was just not nice. You ain't say nothing nice. You was horrible. But I'd be like, really? I sounded that bad? Yes, you did.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
But I'm like you too. You mentioned a good point too. I'm like you when it comes to this. When I'm mad, I'm not willing to hear what you have to say when I'm mad. I need time to calm down.
To process.
Because if I don't, then I'm gonna say I'm gonna be like I said, because I'm too. When I'm mad, it's over. Because like I said, it build up. I will let you tick, 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 tick. But then when I finally, I'm an Aries. So then when we go from 0 to 100,
right?
When we get mad. So I'm like, and that's not good all the time too. Letting it build up and everything. But like I said, I'm working on it. But when I get mad, I need some time away because I don't know what if I say I'm with you, don't touch me, don't talk to me, because I'm gonna get angry. But
let me ask you, what do you think is the most hurtful thing you've ever said to someone that in the second that you said it, you thought about it and wanted to apologize and didn't right away?
That's a really good question.
Like to anybody, family, friends, cousins, boyfriends, just the worst thing you think
Oh,
you've ever said to somebody. And then you was like, damn, that was ugly.
well, I think everybody has this moments when everybody has these moments. Of course, I've told when I've gotten really upset at my mom and everything, I told her mom I hated her. I screamed, I cried, I told her I hate you. And that's not right. That's not right at all. I mean, we were arguing. And everybody argues with their parents.
Mm-hmm. We do.
But yeah, and I refused to. It took me a couple of weeks before I called my mom and apologized, told her I'm sorry and everything. So
They say that, they say the power of the tongue, right? The power
mm-hmm,
of the tongue that could cut somebody like a knife.
mm-hmm,
I remember, I think in my life, the roller coaster of it started in this one scene of my life that I used to date this guy. I'm not gonna say his name because I know he watches. Um, but I dated him, and I remember, and this is how Domino came into play in real life. Um, I met Domino at the club, at my mom was doing his house, and I met him, and he asked me to come out on his birthday. That's like the movie said. But I was seeing this other guy, and he had left to go to LA.
mm-hmm,
And he called me from being in LA, and I think he was in LA for like 2 weeks, but he had to be there for a month. And he
mm-hmm,
had called me, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be in LA a little longer. When I get back, we'll spend time, woo, 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 woo." And I was like, "No, I don't want to spend time with you.
mm-hmm,
I like somebody else now, and I want to move on." And he was like, "What?" And I'm like, "I don't want to. I mean, I'm just done with this situation." Like, I mean, I was so cold, cruel. I just remember, hearing him, and he kept saying, "Don't do this. Like, don't do this way.
mm-hmm.
Don't do it like this." And I was like, "Do it what way? It don't matter. Like,
Right,
why would you want to be with somebody who don't want to be with you?" Like, and I and he probably was the best boyfriend that I ever had in my whole life.
mm-hmm,
So I think the curses that came after probably started from what I did in that particular scene, in that
right,
moment in my life, because he really was a great guy. But it was just wanting the life, because I was just out there like that, and I wanted a life, the life, it's just being in
mm-hmm,
the know, knowing everybody, being on the scene, but then I didn't realize how much I hurt the person until like years later when we spoke, and he was just like, "Girl, you hurt me so bad." And when we really sat down, and then I really cried. I was like, "I'm so sorry." Like,
right,
I was horrible. But the one thing that he did say to me, he said, "You've grown so much, and watching you grow, it
mm-hmm,
makes me happy because I know you're different now." Because I was horrible. You hear me say that a lot. I was very, very mean at one point in my life. Like, I didn't give a shit about nobody's feelings. I didn't care what nobody thought. I didn't care. Saying I'm sorry was not a word in my mouth that came out. It was like, "Oh, well, you hurt, get over it." You know what I'm saying? But I think karma comes back around and it bites you in different
yes.
ways. So
Oh
maybe
yes,
maybe my
absolutely.
karma was from all the things that I did do. And then it's like, okay, when does the karma stop? And then you sit down with that conversation with God, and you're like, okay, do I ever get a break now? Because I know I did that wrong, and I know I did this wrong. But hey, I don't
Right,
apologize to you. But then it's God's timing. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Like like you saying you sorry, but I ain't ready for you to be healed yet. You know what I mean?
right, right.
So it just depends. But that was probably the worst thing that I think that I felt in my life that played a part in my life as I got older.
I see the thing is when it comes to lovers, I ain't never really had a good lover. When it comes to I never really had a good lover. Like, I've always been the one in a situation that's been hurt. People have treated me cold when it comes to lovers and everything. So I never really, you know, I was owed an apology, and of
And
course
you never got it.
never got the
Never did.
apology, and
Yeah.
never got the apology. Never got I'm sorry for. Well, I tell you, let me back up because actually, I'm going to share this and everything. One of my boyfriend, one of my exes at the time, he actually did, a couple of years ago, he ended up getting in trouble, some serious trouble. He got locked up, called me from jail. I was like,
Mhm.
"Who is it calling me from jail? I don't know. I don't know nobody. No jail. I ain't answering. Of came in again and told me he got arrested and got to jail. So then that's when he wanted to apologize and told me that he was sorry. But I think that was the first time that I ever heard this man really apologize to me. So,
did you accept it?
I listened to him.
So how did you feel in that moment? Like, were you like, okay, he's apologizing because he's locked up, or were you like, he's apologizing because he really means it, and maybe he just needs to say it out loud?
A little bit of both. Like, part of me felt like, okay, you just apologizing because you in jail now, Now now you feel everything and see everything that you did to hurt. But then I was like, okay, well, then I'm like, okay, maybe he really does mean it.
Yeah, I think when it comes to apologizing, I think it's the same way as if you was praying to God and you saying, God, I'm sorry because I sinned today, or I went out and I did this wrong, and I feel bad about what I did. I think my problem now in my life that hurts me a lot is because I never want my last word to somebody that I really loved to be the worst word that I could have said, and then something happens to them. You know what I mean? Like, you hear people that don't, Patti LaBelle, she told a story about her sister, and that broke my heart when she said her sister had cancer, and her sister called her one day for a sandwich and said, hey, Patty, I'm sick, and I can you make this sandwich for me? And Patty was busy that day. She had something she had to do, and she said, well, I can't do it right now. Can you just wait? You just got to wait. And she didn't go, and her sister died.
Right.
So every time I think about things that I say to people, even when I'm mad, I can say some pretty mean things, even when I'm mad. But when I take back and I sit back in the moment, I have to ask myself, what does this person really mean to me? And is it words that I just said? And then when I say it back like that, that's when I say my heart is bigger than my mind. Like, my heart is big. So I don't sleep well knowing that I said something really mean to somebody. Like, it'll bother me. It'll be my conscience. Kind of what Milan is saying. He said, I said something to my brother on the phone, and he lives in Massachusetts. I had to call him back to apologize to him because my conscience wouldn't let me rest. That's kind of how I feel when I say something mean to somebody. Yeah.
And let me back up to a story that I just kind of told, that because you just brought up something that it really, that's how I felt too. So I just kind of told this story that it was actually, about somebody who was really, really a woman who was really, really close to me. And like when I was backing up, I said, got into it over something so petty. I mean, it was so petty. It was so small. Now that I look back on it, and I'm like, I haven't talked to her in months. That's why I said I extended the olive branch, because I think about stuff like that. It hurts me because I love that. I love that girl. I have a lot of love for that woman, and she's been in my life for a long time, and we've been through a lot of stuff together, and she's given me a lot. That's one of my closest friends, like a sister to me. You know what I'm saying? So I think about stuff like that. It hurts me that, when you can't get over something, when we can't get over something so small and everything. So that's why I did extend an olive branch back, because I think about stuff like if that person died, if something happened, like something serious, or you in the hospital, and then that would hurt me so much. And I just wish I could get it. I wish I could get back with that. I wish we could come together, and I really wish we could work it out. But she's just really not working with me. So I don't know what to do.
But you know what? Sometimes you have to allow God to work the way he works, because everybody don't forgive in the same time frame.
Right.
I mean, some people process different. So you have to allow people to process. And then if they never come back on your path, it probably wasn't meant to be on your path. I mean, you have to look at it that way, because you can only apologize for the wrong you've done, or the thing that you did. And you can say, hey, I'm sorry, it was ugly. I didn't mean it like I said it, or I didn't mean it how it went down, or however it goes. You can only apologize for your part. You see what I'm saying? You tried. If the olive branch wasn't taken, you can't beat yourself down because the person ain't taking your olive branch. You see what I'm saying? So you have to just say, hey, I did my part. I've done what I could do. And now I have to leave it alone. Because even as you're talking about it, you can see that it hurts you, that it bothers you a lot. You know what I mean? But you do your part and you just, that's all you can do. Because like I said, I've said some things to my kids. I've said some things to my oldest child that, you know, you can't even, you don't even know how it come out your mouth sometimes, you know,
Right.
just out of being angry, being a frustrated mom, just have, you know, things. Cause, you know, I think like for me, sometimes when it comes to my kids, I think that they don't like, they think I'm the mad, like the mom and the dad. That's the word mad. So I do everything. And I don't think they understand that sometimes the weight of it is so heavy because I
Mhm.
feel like if I fumble the ball, I fumble.
Right.
And that's hard for me. It's like I don't have a break. I don't have a break day. I don't have a day where mommy can stop being mommy at my age or they're grown. It's always I got to get out here. I got to keep going. I got to do this. And no matter what hurts, no matter what stings, no matter how much the bruise,
Right.
I'm still expected to be always on top and always smiling and always running and always doing whatever because anybody that I think knows me knows my drive and my passion
Right.
is so real to so many things. So when I say things sometimes and I'm in that moment and I think about if I said this and I was wrong, what is God going to take away from me?
Right.
What is my punishment going to be? And is it going to be greater than what I just said to the person that I just said it to? So I
Right.
always think about it like that. I always think like,
Yeah.
I can't get no blessings if I'm out here being horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I think like that as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just, yeah, I think like that as well. Like I definitely always try to put God into them. Like, okay, that was not right and everything. And I look at like, something gonna happen to me in my life. I don't, I'm
And I
not
don't
gonna be
want it.
blessed. I'm not gonna be blessed if I don't make things right. If I don't, you know, ask God to forgive me, and if I don't make things right with the person who I wronged and everything. So
Yeah, but when you said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it," you got to apologize, and you can't keep looking back on the apologize the fact that you have apologized. You say it, and if you know you meant it with everything in your heart,
mhm.
why do you beat yourself up? Why do we beat ourselves up? If you
Yeah,
know you said something, like I apologize to you, and I really meant when I said I was sorry. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like I didn't mean it how it came out. And like I said, sometimes when you're mad, sometimes when you're feeling some type of way, you scream out stuff. I mean, I used to say some horrific things to my
mhm,
ex-husband, but I was young and just growing up. And that's not even an excuse. It's just
mhm,
like you don't have to. I remember when I first got married, I was still touring. I was still out doing shows. This is my first husband. I was still doing shows. I was still doing life. And when I got married, I was like, nigga, I'm not finna stop what I'm doing. I don't give a hell what you go ahead and do. I don't care if you go find you a girlfriend. I don't care if you find you a boo. Just don't try to. And that was my attitude. That was my attitude off the grid. And it was nasty. Like I had a nasty attitude when it came to stuff. So I didn't look at his pain. I didn't look that he needed me to be his wife. All I knew is I came back and I was married. You know what I'm saying? Like I went away to an island on vacation with a man that I had just literally just met like 2 months prior to. And I was just like, hey, let's get married. We got married. We got married. We come back and now boom, we in this marriage. And I'm like, oh my God, I ain't ready to be nobody's wife. And then
mhm.
my life is changing. So now I'm having to learn how to have somebody in my space, deal with it and try to
Right,
understand it. And I couldn't. I mean,
right,
I was mad. And then, I didn't have nobody telling me that's wrong. All I knew is that my drive and I wanted what I wanted and I didn't care about any of his feelings. I mean, I would leave the kids and everything, girl. I would leave the kids and be gone. I got to go sing. I got to go do this. I got a show to do. It was all about I. And there
right.
was no we. There was
And
no
there's
we.
a we. It can't be like that in a marriage.
Yeah, it was no we. It was
Yeah,
no we.
Miss Hilda, she said, forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself and others. It doesn't mean you forget or excuse what happened, but it releases your heart from the weight of bitterness. When we choose to forgive, we reflect the heart of our Heavenly Father who has forgiven us through His grace.
Girl, yes. That's well said,
Absolutely.
Miss Sophie. You couldn't have said
Yep.
that more
E-
better.
e- Exactly. Yes, it's Valon said, yes, it's the peace that passes all understanding, humility, ladies.
It's some
Absolutely.
hurtful stuff. You can sit here like I think apologizing, no matter who you're apologizing to, it
Right,
doesn't matter. Hurt is hurt, pain is pain, and your
mm,
reality is your reality. If
right,
somebody says something that makes you feel uncomfortable, and you know that it was hurtfully said, or an act was done to you, and is no apology done, that means the person probably don't think they did nothing wrong. Like I said, even when I was being abused in my marriage. My husband never said he was sorry. Like, he never was like, I hit you and I was wrong. It was, oh, well, I hit you because you deserved it. I hit you because you didn't do something fast enough, or you didn't move fast enough, or you didn't walk fast enough, or you walked out the room too quick. You know what I'm saying? It was never, oh, I gave you that black eye, but I apologize. I don't know what that looks like even till now. I don't know. I never got those apologies. But if I would have stayed broken from the non-apologies, I would still be broken, because I would still be sitting there going, well, damn, this person hates me, and it was a lot of hitting, a lot of abuse, but it was never no sorries. It was never no coming in and saying, I'm sorry. I might have got some roses. I might have got a gift. I might have got something that was supposed to be the apologies, but the physical words coming out of somebody's mouth, no, that didn't happen. It was like, you need to learn how to be quiet, and you need to learn how to act accordingly. So it's a lot of that. A lot of that.
It is. And this is kind of emotional topic right here and everything. I just, because when I think about some things, and I think about my own life, and it just
reflection is important in anything you do in your life. I always say you got to start with yourself. You have to look in the mirror and say to yourself, what did I do to make this way? And what do I do to repair it? And when you've done your part, you can't keep beating yourself down. You can't keep saying, if I could have, would have, because you can't put the milk back in the glass that's already spilled. You see what I'm saying? All you can do is go forward and say, I done it. I did it. I'm sorry. You pray to your Heavenly Father and say, hey, God, you know what? That was ugly. It was uncalculated. I don't know how this came out of my mouth. I don't know how these words flowed off my tongue, but I apologize. And once you do, you got to learn how to leave stuff alone, because what can you can just forever beat yourself down. You'll forever be sad thinking you done did something wrong and you done said you're sorry. Once you extend your hand and say, hey, this was not how it was supposed to be, and I really miss us, and I really want us to be whole again, and the person say no, what can you do? What can you do? You got to move forward. And life gonna go on, because baby, when you die, you're dying alone. I say that all the time. When I go, I'm going by myself. No one's going in that coffin, grave, cremation, but me.
Right. You are absolutely right.
Myself over the things, the broken promises, the sad stories, the sad apologies that I don't get, the many people that hurt me that don't apologize. I mean, I think I get hurt every second. If you ask me, I'm always hurting. But then I become bored. You know what I'm saying? After a while,
that's me.
You know what I'm saying? It's like that's a dart and just bounces off. It's like, oh, well, I know they're not going to apologize. Let me keep it pushing. So I think in my life, that's how I've made myself to where I don't even care. But if people don't apologize no more, because I just figure it's never going to happen. And there's no need to try to make people apologize or get people to apologize. It's just, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing I can do about it. It just is what it is.
Right.
So I just want it.
Right.
And keep pushing forward, because that's at the end of the day, that's all I can do.
I think that's with me and you. I feel like I'm just hurt every second and everything, and it's taught me to have a guard up and everything, and not to really let a lot of people in so easily, because it's exhausting getting hurt so much, and just getting hurt so much, and just always being sad and down. And I'm the type of person, when I'm sad, people see it on me. They see it on me. They see the emotions on my face. I carry it.
And I'm the opposite of you. You can't see mine. I don't let people see my pain. If you got to be real close to me to see it. When I'm hurt, you'll know, but not on the outside. You won't see it on the outside. You got to be so close to me and be like, she hurt, and I know she is. But if you're not somebody in my space and have been in my world, you'll never know, because I've mastered how to smile. I've mastered how to be like, hey, how you doing? It's a gift and a curse. That's what I'm saying. You don't know if I cried last night. You don't know what it felt like when this happened. You don't know, because you don't care enough to know. So you get up in the morning and go, okay, God, here's another day. Here's another day. I remember a time in my life where I didn't want to get up in the morning. I didn't want to live. I just remember being there in that dark place. And I remembered how many people came and called. None. It was nobody. So I know what it feels like to be alone, and alone is not scary to me anymore. Once I mastered how to be alone and understand that being alone was okay, and I had to take all the things out of my head that I was hearing, it was okay for me, because Sometimes you be in dark spaces where you're just like, you know what? I can't wear the world. I can't figure out why this person don't like me. I can't figure out why my hair color matters. I can't figure out why this part of my body distracts the world. You know what I'm saying? I can't, if I sit and listen to all the hurt and all the things people got to say about me, I would be broken.
Yeah.
I would be all the way broken and I would be broken down. So I have to walk with grace and I have to hold my head high no matter what the storm. And that's probably the one thing my dad taught me. He said, never look down. What you looking down there for? Ain't nothing down there. Keep looking up. You know,
Right.
so I do that with nothing. It's like easy to do. It's so easy to do now that it's just a learned behavior that I just be like, I will not make nobody feel like they broke me down. Not in this day and age. No, it's too hard. And I've worked too hard. You see what I'm saying? I've
I'm
given
still,
to myself already.
yeah, I'm still, that's a process for me. Still, that's a process for me. I'm learning to be okay because alone is scary. I've definitely been with you with it, especially when you say you've been in dark places. I've been in dark places. I feel like nobody has been there for me. I'm struggling. I have to get myself out of this dark place and everything. Because like you said, people really, when you get in some situations and stuff like that, you see who really is there for you. And
Who's really for you?
who's really there for you and really a friend. That's just the crazy thing. You really see who's there for you. So I've been in places where I'm not wanting to just get out of bed and I've cried all day and it's just I can't take it anymore and I can't do it
And this is sad, but
it's like who's there for me? It's like you always be there for somebody, you always give them advice, but then when you need help, who's there for you?
Who's crying out? Who's crying with you? That's the thing.
Exactly.
Who's crying with you? Sometimes you cry alone, and you wonder you in a world full of people, and you have all these friends, and you have all these family members, you have all these people around you, and then you're looking at yourself and going, "But where is everybody at when I need them? Where is everybody when I'm really crying? Where is everybody when I'm really down?" You know, it's something that you ask yourself, and then you have to really sit back and you have to look at that. And you know what the thing is? You sit back and look long enough, you will see what people rather be doing.
Right.
If you really just sit back and look, you'll figure it out very quickly. That there's a lot of things that people rather be doing besides apologizing, getting over stuff. People don't get over nothing sometimes. Some people are so hateful, they don't never get over nothing. They hate you forever. And that's just in their spirit. And you can't change people. It ain't our job to change nobody. It ain't our job to fix people. You know what I'm saying? It's our job to just be us. And if forgiving is who you are, continue being forgiven. Don't let nobody take that from you. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what you have. And that's what reflects on you. There's nothing wrong with being hurt. We're going to get hurt. Everybody gets hurt all the time. But don't ever be the person on the odd end, never saying you're sorry. Because if you never say you're sorry, how does your grace and favor come if you can't even apologize to no one, never day?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
But,
yeah. Avalon said there's a popular song made by a great singer named, I'm sorry, he said, meant to say, after all you said and done, you just stand. Yes, that's one of my favorite songs. I think
Donnie McClurkin.
Yes, that's one of the greatest songs.
Yes.
But we have come on our hour. This was a heavy topic today about apologizing and saying you're sorry. And I think Aaliyah was a little emotional on this one. Sometimes, but world, it's a show of unfiltered, and sometimes you have to see, what it is. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't always come on here and be trying to be the perfect person because
we want to show you our authentic selves and everything because we're human as well, and we go through things in our life and everything. And some topics are really just. They hit home, they're heavy and they hit home for you and everything. And then it's like when you think about things in your life, it just really hits home. But I'm glad that we can come on here and we can show you the real us and everything and show you that we're not perfect and that we are human and we go through things and everything. But we are coming up on the hour and everything. This is Unfiltered at 5 with Shelly Live and Leah Nicole. We want to say go out there, go hug on someone, go love on someone, forgive. Make things right if you can and everything. Like she said, everybody forgives in their own time, in their own way. So if you've done all you can, if you've done everything and you've done all you can, then what do? You just stand, right?
Just stand. He said, I love you, girl.
Love you too. Love you too. Thank you all so much.
Y'all,
all right.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Y'all keep pressing, pushing past the pain.
Yes.
Love on somebody, hug on somebody.
All right.
Hug the people that don't even love you and love the people that don't love you because maybe they need some prayers. Maybe they need some prayers in their life. You don't know what people's going through. So, yeah. That part.
We
Y'all
love
be
y'all. We are
Yes.
out.
We out of here.
Girl, let's talk about it. Did you hear them talking about it? Oh my God, do you know this? What? Oh my God.
Oh my God, it's Shani Lavenly and Nicole. Shani Lavenly and Nicole on a roll. Lighting up the stream, the vibe is bold. Shani Lavenly and Nicole, let's go. Kicking down doors, we make some noise. Grown folks talk with truth and poise. Doing it big, turning up the flow. Shani Lavenly and Nicole, you know. Oh yeah, it's Shani Lavenly and Nicole. Oh yeah, it's Shani Lavenly and Nicole. Everywhere. Shani Lavenly and Nicole, oh yeah. Grown talk vibes, the moment is here.
Thank you for tuning in.